Okay, let's go over some more words that sound similar. Again, not the same, but similar. That means very close, very close. We need to be able to catch or hear the small differences when people are speaking very quickly or when people have very different accents. Maybe a French native speaker speaking English as a second language. We need to be able to also hear the differences between these words with very, very similar pronunciations. One suggestion I would have would be when you watch movies, try to watch the movies without subtitles. Now, if you need subtitles, use English subtitles. But if you can do it without, it is great practice for your listening skill. Right? Watching movies can be a great way to improve. It really can. Okay, so let's go over some of these words. These are very similar sounding words. The key sound here is ow, ow, or aw, aw, aw. Excuse me, aw, aw. The first one is, I think you probably know, an adverb that might follow the verb go, for example. And it's quite simple. Down, down, down. Notice that the shape of my mouth actually changes as I go from here to here. The position changes from there to there. Ow, ow, down, 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 down. And the end is down. If you have difficulty saying correctly, you can practice by adding n to the end. Down, down. Now that's not correct, but it can help you get the n sound. And then after you've got it, you can take away the at the end and just say n. Down, 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 down. Okay? The next one really is not a big difference between the two. It's almost the same sound, except we say dr instead of d. Dr, dr, and it's a very quick sound. Drown, 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 drown. Notice again my mouth is going from big to small. Ow, drown, drown. Okay? Now the next one is different because we say aw, aw. And this one we don't change our mouth. This one we don't say ow, ow. We don't do that. We just say aw. Okay, so this makes a special sound. This part is the same as this one. This is the same. Dr, dr, dr. But this is different. Aw. Drawn, drawn, aw. Drawn, 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 drawn. And if you need to practice the N sound, drawn, 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 drawn. So, oh, by the way, the meaning of this is a past participle of draw. Draw has several meanings. One meaning of draw could be to draw a picture, like that. I don't know what that is. The other one could be to take something out, and it's the past participle, which would come after, like have. I have drawn a picture. I have drawn a picture of something, I don't know what. Okay, I have drawn. She has drawn. Okay, drown means to die in the water. You breathe water in and you die from water. It's to drown, to drown. Okay, and that's usually used as a verb. Okay, so let's go through these one more time really quickly. Down, 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 down. Drown, excuse me, drown, 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 drown. Next one, this one. Drawn, 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 drawn. Okay. So, you have to pay attention to the small differences. Practice these. Let's go on. Okay, now let's actually practice some different similar sounding words that are a bit longer. Okay, let's try some longer words. Expensive, magic. So these words have clear differences, but the problem is when you're listening and when you're speaking, sometimes it's easy to get sort of stuck in saying it because they're a little bit long. Or maybe because it's long, someone says it really, really quickly, and you can't hear the small differences within the words. So I want to focus on those small differences so that you can catch them. This word, pretty easy to say, expensive, 3 syllables. Expensive, 3 syllables. A syllable is a beat, dung, 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 in a word. And if you don't know how to get how many syllables, just say it without using your mouth. And that's an easy way to count. 3 syllables. Expensive. Okay. Expensive. Expensive. Notice that we stress this one. Expensive. Expensive. Now it changes with the next one. This will be stressed. Inexpensive. 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 We focus more on the in. Inexpensive. Inexpensive. People usually will not say inexpensive. Inexpensive. It sounds strange. We will usually focus on this prefix. So if you want to hear the differences between these and someone is talking very, very fast, don't focus on the whole word. Focus on where the stress is. Because if someone says expensive, inexpensive, expensive, inexpensive, expensive, inexpensive, it's difficult to hear the in, especially if that's in a sentence, right? And so what you should really do is focus on where the stress is. Expensive, inexpensive, 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 okay? Now this one is the same, but we have to be able to hear the difference between this consonant, P, and this consonant, T. If you're watching the person, you can focus on their mouth. If they close their mouth, you know it must be this one, the first one. If they don't, it's probably this one, number 3. Okay? Expensive. Extensive. Extensive. Expensive. Extensive. Now, if you can't see my mouth, expensive, extensive, expensive, extensive. It's a little bit different, but it's difficult to catch the difference sometimes, especially if you're talking maybe on the phone. And so you have to have a very clear understanding of the meaning of both of these so you can put them into, for example, a context. Extensive means more than enough. And sometimes it just means a lot. Extensive research, extensive knowledge. Okay? So if it's in that kind of sentence, put it there. Expensive research, well, that could also fit. So sometimes it's quite difficult. Again, you would have to probably pay attention to the context, the situation. If you can hear the difference between them, that's great. But at least when you're saying these two, make sure when you say this one, you close your mouth, and when you say this one, you don't. Expensive, extensive, okay? So that you can think of it as levels. When you're speaking, always as correctly as you can, say the sounds and focus on the right stress. When you're listening, sometimes it's not possible to get the two. Extensive, expensive might sound exactly the same on the phone. And so in that case, you need to really focus on the context or the situation that it's in. Now, sometimes they might have the same meaning or could have the same meaning and you can't figure it out from context. In that case, you need to ask the person, what do you mean? And if you're watching a movie and you can't ask the movie, what do you mean? Use the subtitles or maybe talk to a native speaker. Ask a native speaker, what are they saying? Or at least watch the person's mouth, okay? If you can. All right. See you next time.